by the River Dart at Kingswear. Intertwined with the ebb and flow of the River Dart, Kingswear Station, a picturesque terminus, is nestled on the eastern bank of the river. Much remained familiar under British railways. The mighty kings and castles still ruled the roost.
Villages, fields, a junction at Crewe. Main lines and sidings, a shunter or two. Freight trains and tankers, a great water tower. The Mallard, the Star, they've got some power. Hornby. Radiant's viaducts, a diesel, a crane. Lifting a coach, not showing the strain. People on platforms, cattle and skies. Houses and crossings, a big pair of eyes. A big pair of eyes. I'm a Hornby HS2, and nothing can catch me.
Its glory long since fled. Lines of castles and kings in rust decay, giants gone, now swept away. Beeching's axe and Martel's hand broke the pride that once ruled the land. Engines silent, dreams grow dim, diesels hum where steam once brimmed. The scrapman's torch melting away, out with the old and in with new day. Modernity rose and motorway spread. Victorian might is laid to rest. Still hearts stilled that once beat best. From scrapyards grim at Barry's shore, still Titans awaited cold sad fate unsure. From Barry's scrapyards still arose, where castles slept in rusted rows. Across the land of rails reclaimed, heritage steam restored to its new fame. Now's the time for steam's advance in this golden new age of Western Renaissance.
Moving on from Western glory, we show you the last days of steam. Using archive footage, we look at the route from Paddington, Reading and Didcot before turning to the Chiltern main line from High Wycombe to Birmingham Snow Hill. The 1950s and 1960s was a period of great turmoil and slow decline for Britain's railways. The railways became a political football caught between the Conservative government and the powerful trade unions, whose beliefs often stood in complete contrast. Strike action, rising costs, and unable to compete with road transport all played their part. The Suez Canal crisis of 1956 and the subsequent resignation of the Prime Minister Anthony Eden brought national humiliation and uncertainty in the country. Brief petrol rationing led some to believe there might be a return to the railways, and perhaps even a compromise of the modernisation plan, much to the embarrassment of the then government. But as the country recovered, those hopes faded, and the railways once again appeared to be drifting towards oblivion. The junction at Didcot is today home to the Great Western Society. Didcot Railway Centre is one of the earliest examples of railway preservation, operating as both a museum and a base for charter services. The route from High Wycombe to Birmingham Snow Hill, shared with important interregional services, is known as the Chiltern Main Line, carrying trains to Birmingham, Birkenhead and Wales, with the Cambrian Coast Express and Intercity Express trains. Although many branch lines were lost to the cuts, the Marlow and Maidenhead branches survived. Shown here is a typical Great Western auto train with a 14XX. The level crossing gates at Loudwater offer a distinctive flavour of rural Buckinghamshire. The Mogul 5357 is seen hauling an interregional service towards the southern region. The Kings remained active on the Chilterns, with top-link workings to Birmingham, Wolverhampton and Shrewsbury. This was as far as they could reach on the Western. The Kings, once the pride of top-link duties, were all rejuvenated during the 1950s. Only for all 30 locomotives to be displaced by incoming diesel hydraulics by 1962. With the publication of Dr. Beeching's report, about 30% of route miles were to close, alongside the loss of thousands of railway jobs and around 2,500 stations slated for closure. It seemed that the long history of railways in Britain, which once powered an empire, was approaching a dark and miserable end. Fast forwarding to the future, the Western would change beyond all recognition.
This is what British Rail would like us to call the Executive High-Speed Train. City 125, and as you can see, a pretty futuristic looking train. As the name implies, top speed 125 miles per hour. Its mixture of the traditional with the restyled helped it break the record between Paddington and Bristol Parkway today.
In the city, we're getting there.
Meanwhile, with heritage groups springing up across the country, a renaissance in Western steam was underway. One of the finest is the Severn Valley Railway. Nestled in the Midlands across Shropshire and Worcestershire, is one of Britain's premier heritage railways. Originally opened in 1862, the line follows the River Severn, never being too far away. Serving the communities of the valley. The railway was saved by volunteers and reopened as a heritage line in 1970. Today, 16 miles of the original route survive, running from Kidderminster to Bridgnorth. This is Great Western heritage in motion, keeping the old Great Western spirit alive, with trains following gentle gradients through wooded cuttings, riverside scenery and open countryside. Kidderminster town is the southern terminus of the line in Worcestershire. With the exception of Country Park Halt, is the youngest of the Severn Valley stations here. The railway connects with National Rail, and the original station is nestled behind. The town historically famous for its carpet industry, once renowned worldwide. The diesel depot at Kidderminster, opened in 2016, is home to a growing fleet of diesel locomotives. But out of steam, one of the favourites must be the Manors. 9 Manors were saved from Barry Scrapyard. 3 are preserved here at the Severn Valley Railway. 7802 Bradley Manor, 7812 Alstoke Manor, and 7819 Hinton Manor, which is on static display at the engine house at Highley. Now I'm going to edit this into the video, as I initially first time got it wrong. They fit in perfectly here. Take her away, Bob. An example of a 24-hour gala 2857 departs an 8:30 p.m. service in September 2021, while Tor Valley and others demonstrate the wide cosmopolitan variety of locomotives to be found on the valley. There is no denying that Kidderminster captures the unmistakable atmosphere of a real railway. The vast carriage shed houses one of the finest collections in the country, offering a true journey through the age of steam, with LMS formations, Great Western Collet and Hawksworth stock, LNE Arctic coaches, and the prestigious British Railways Mark I in a variety of liveries. (1501) heads towards Bewdley at Rifle Range Nature Reserve. In winter, the railway operates Santa specials with mince pies, carols and festive dining trains, as Father Christmas comes to town. In summer, grass fires can potentially threaten the railway. One such example saw a fire in a neighbouring field, resulting in one angry farmer, and steam working being temporarily restricted. Just beyond the line lies the West Midlands Safari Park.
And with a fanfare, the torch headed off aboard the Severn Valley Railway to the next stop on its nationwide tour.
Bewdley is a handsome historic market town, famed for its beer festivals and one of the largest inland regattas in Britain. Once a junction for the Tenbury-Wells branch, long since closed. It is also the birthplace of the former Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin. (7812) Alstoke Manor in May time. Heading towards Kidderminster with a 12:57 p.m. train, with a set M formation in maroon. The snow makes one atmospheric gala in March 2018. A visiting locomotive from the Norfolk Railway was B12 number 8572 with matching era teak stock. While locomotives visit from far afield, as do passengers. Some are royal. The supports for the Tenbury branch are still visible. Duchess of Sutherland shows her paces at the Autumn Gala 2018 at Tenbury Wall, where the Tenbury branch spurred on. A loco whose name precedes her, Flying Scotsman, visits in 1990. Northwood Halt is a simple request stop. Trimpley Reservoir takes water from the River Severn, stores it and supplies parts of the county, South Shropshire and Birmingham via the Severn Valley Aqueduct. This shot demonstrates the passing pipe bridge for the reservoir. Crossing the River Severn is Victoria Bridge, a cast iron bridge built by John Fowler, who also designed the fourth bridge and was engineer for the Metropolitan Railway in London. When built, it was the largest single-span bridge made of cast iron in Britain. Arley is charmingly set and is perhaps the most famous station on the Severn Valley Railway, immortalised as Hatley in the BBC sitcom Oh Dr. Beeching, and seen in Goodnight Mr. Tom and many other productions. Tor Valley crosses the county border into Shropshire, with boaters drifting gently along the Severn. Highley is in the middle of the Severn Valley Country Park and is home to the Engine House Museum, where former resident locos are on static display, including information on the origins of the preservation group. The once Severn Valley regular, Standard 879, looks the part with her 50s crimson and cream Mark Watts. Country Park Halt serves riverside walks and tranquil woodland paths, a peaceful pause between stations. At Hampton Loade, the line brushes past the caravan park beside the river, a place where holidaymakers wake up to the echo of whistles and drifting steam. Former West Somerset locomotive Ravingham Hall departs northward to Bridgnorth, tackling a 1 in 145 climb, affectionately known as Ratbag. She is dearly missed by many enthusiasts. Tor Valley, in her contrasting and controversial purple Queen's Platinum Jubilee livery, posing gracefully months before her withdrawal at Farm Crossing, south of milepost 146.5. Jubilee Galatea posing as a long-lost classmate, 45605 Cyprus, shining in the glorious sun. With a tiresome speed restriction at Morebrook, reminding us of the sometimes delicate embankments along the Severn Valley. A landslip at Morebrook once severed the line from Bridgnorth for several months. Thanks to volunteers, patrons and public donations, the Severn Valley is now back at full strength. Eardington Halt, now fully restored, marks the climb to the bank. Eardington Bank itself offers one of the finest viewpoints on the railway. The Severn Valley is usually quite flat. Engines work hardest at Eardington Bank, with a 1 in 100 climb to the summit towards Bridgnorth and a short 1 in 280 descent on the other side. Diesel galas on the Severn Valley are among the most popular in the country, and rival steam events even. In an ironic twist, many first-generation diesel hydraulics that replaced steam on the Western were withdrawn in the 1970s. now find a permanent home here. Our final stop is Bridgnorth, once connected to Ironbridge and Shrewsbury. The station here was originally the operating base for the embryonic Severn Valley Railway, when preservation began in the late 1960s. The station remains the site of the main motive power depot, making it an exciting place to spend time on operating and non-operating days alike. The Railwayman's Arms is a pub part of the station building, and on a warm autumnal night nothing is finer than an ale sourced from local breweries and listening to the gentle hissing of locos, those sleeping giants awaiting their next outing. An engine shed has been erected here on the former goods shed, providing roads for all local resident locos and visiting engines. As the sun sets over Bewdley, Hagley Hall heads onwards into the future, a true renaissance in the preservation movement, with the Severn Valley, a testament to the Western forever golden, where steam is still king on God's wonderful railway, standing as an inspiration to us all.